Hey everyone, how's each and every one of you are doing on this Saturday evening or Sunday morning? I hope that each of you are having a good weekend and staying cool from the summer temperatures and enjoying your weekends. So as you can see, I'm doing this video lecture on week 3 for the pre-calculus topic is radicals and rational exponents. All right, remember back in Algebra 1 to my understanding Algebra 2 where these are familiar to some people. You have the 7 and the exponent 1/2, and then this kind of like similar to this, like the open parentheses square root of 10 and close parentheses the third power, right? Okay. Well, this is going to be significant in some ways. You can remember back in the early stages of Algebra 1 and recently in Algebra 2. So bear in mind in a second, I'm going to start on this. Problems 1, 3, and 6. We have, it says, write each expression in radical form. Okay. The radical form is this. The radical form is a square root. Okay? Okay. The square root sign. And you remember these. We have the N and the A and this. And whatever it is, the exponent. Okay, there you go. You see, kind of like similar to this. All right. The reason why I put parentheses because I'm going to show you in these two problems here will involve parentheses. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? All right. What's the N? The N stands for, it represents the index. The A represents the radicand. And the E represent what's the power? The power, okay? So far, so good? All right. All right, don't worry. If you miss a step or two, you're okay. All right. Any questions on the radical form? All right, let's move on. Number 7, we have 7 and the exponent's 1/2 power. Question. Which one is the radicand? Which one is going inside the square root? Actually, it's a better word. Better idea. The 7, the 1, or the 2? If you said a 7, you're correct. That is our radicand. Okay? There you go. So far, so good? All right. Which one's the N? The one on the numerator or the 2 as a denominator? If we said the 2, you're correct. You don't have to put 2 in there because every time when you see the square root of any number, there's going to be an imaginary 2 inside. So don't need necessarily put the 2 inside. And the 1, well, you don't have to use it because it's a power of 1. So you're fine right there. So the answer is the square root of 7. That's the radical form. Any questions on number 1? Move on. Number 2. We have 2 to the power of 5/3. What is the radicand? The 2, the 5, or the 3? You said 2, right? You're correct. Okay. Which one's the index? Remember, the index is always the denominator. And what number is the index? What number is in the denominator? 3, right? 3. Are we done? Are we finished with this problem? No, right? What do we do with this 5? What do we put on the outside? The parenthesis, right? What goes on the outside on this side? What's remaining? The 5 has the power. Now, does it match with this? Yes, right? Because the 2 is the radicand. The 3 is the denominator, so it's going to be inside the index. And the 5 is the numerator, goes outside the parentheses. There, now you figure out the radical form. All right. Any questions on number 2 or number 3? If you miss a step or two, no need to worry. This will be posted on the Google Classroom and the Canvas page. So no worry about that. And also the video. Other than that, any more questions on number 3? All right. So we have number 6. 2, the power of 1/6. What goes inside the box? The 2, the 1, or the 6? You said 2, right? Very good. Because that's the base. The base goes inside the square root sign, is better known as a radicand. All right. What number that goes in index? Remember, the index is always the denominator. And what number is on the denominator for the index? The 6, right? 6 goes outside. So we have 2. Square root of 6 goes outside the square root of 2. And are we through yet? Not yet. What do we do with the 1 on the power? Do we put parentheses around it, or we don't? No, we don't, because there's no need necessary to put the parentheses around it. If it's more than 1 on the numerator, then you put parentheses around it. But in this case, you don't need to do that. So that is our final answer. So any questions on number 6? So far, so good, right? That was not too bad, right? So on the writing the expression part, writing each expression in a radical form. You're turning these into radical form. So using the square roots. All right. Now we're going to go into the next step. Write each expression in exponential form. Problems 7, 8, and 10. Okay. All right. In order to get these into exponential form, you see these in the previous problems? Those are the exponential form. Now you're getting somewhere, right? All right. So you had to turn these into these, okay? How do we do this? Let's start. All right. First things first. What is the base? We have number 7. Open parentheses, square root of 10, close parentheses, the power of 3. What is the base first? Is it a 10, the 2, with imaginary 2, or the 3? If you said 10, you are correct. So we have the 10 here. Now we had to do the fraction on the exponent. What is the numerator? The one outside the 3 or the 2? The 3, right? And then what's left over? The 2. You want to do a demonstration? Let's try this. I'm going to do this in example check on the radical form. Okay, radical form. Okay, so this one goes inside the radican. The parentheses. What goes outside? The 3. Oh, the 2. I'm sorry, the 2. The 2. Not really the 2. No need to put the 2. Okay, and the 3 goes outside. Does it match? Yes. So this is the final answer. So in order to convert these into exponential form, you had to take what's inside the square root as the base, and the exponent is the numerator goes the numerator, and the power the index is the denominator, and that's how you do the exponential form. So any questions on number 7? All right, let's go on. So we have 8. The index is 2, square root of 2. Question: what is the base? Is it a 2 or the 6? It's a 2, right? So the 2 is the base. All right. Question: the numerator, is it the 1 or the 6? In this case, there's nothing around it, so it's a 1, right? And the denominator is 6. So that's how you do this. So where we see something like this, the index is 6, square root of 2. The base is the radicand is 2 as a base. There's nothing around the parentheses, so it's 1 as the power, and the 6 is the index. And that's how you do number 8. Any questions on number 8? So far, not too bad, right, folks? All right. Number 10. We have open parentheses, square root, the index is 4, square root of 5, close parentheses, to the 5th power. All right. It's something similar to the previous one like this, okay? On number 3. So let's do this as the exponential form. What is the base? Is it a 5, the 4, or the other 5 outside? If you said 5 from the index, the inside the square root, you're correct. Very good. Now, what number is on the numerator? The 5 or the 4? A lot of people get this mixed up, but I'm going to tell you why. If you said 5, then you're correct. Because sometimes people forget that the index goes first, and then that the square root, the power go outside the parentheses. But not this case. No, not always. Now you know how it is. So this goes the outside the parentheses go in outside first, and then the 4 is an index. So that is a final answer. That's not bad, right? So make sure it's correct. Let's see. Double check. Square root of 5. 4. 5. Does it match with this? Yes. Match. So that is final answer. All right. Any question on number 10? All right. So far, so good. We covered the radical form and the exponential form. Now we're going to continue with the remaining problems that is dealing with this. This is kind of the doozy part. I think in your notes, like these notes, is going to be attached to your Google Classroom or Canvas page. There's 11 pages worth of notes that, well, it does explain pretty good, it's pretty simple. It explains the steps and how you do the radical exponents and radicals. But this is this is the easiest version, so I'm going to do my very best on this. So pay attention to 13 and 14. When you see the parentheses, the variable, and the number, outside the parentheses, you see the negative 3/4. It's going to be significant. I can tell you why it's going to be significant. Okay? All right. So it's going to be a fraction, right? It's going to be a fraction because when you see this, automatic fraction. Okay? So far, so good. All right. Something goes over something. All right. Then, when you see the fraction, you got to turn this into be always going to be the numerator will be on top of number 1, no matter what. When you see this on the power root, this won't be a number 1 when you see a negative sign. So far, so good. All right. All right. Question. What do we do on the numerator? Do we do a square root or just put the variable? Let me rephrase it. Do we do a square root by itself without the variable or with the variable? Square root with the variable. Okay? Which is 5x. Okay? Then, what goes the index? The 5 or the 4? The 4, right? Are we finished? What's missing? We're not finished. So what do we do to get this 5 into the equation? We do the parentheses. And we'll put the 5 in. Are we finished? Yes. So let's double check this problem. We have the square root of the variable 5x, close parentheses. The index, 5 goes on top, 4 goes on the bottom. Does it match? Yes, so it's a match. So this is our final answer. That wasn't too bad, right? All right, that's not too bad, right? So when you see this, the variables inside the parentheses and the exponent, negative exponent, first things first, you put in order to make it positive, you put 1 over, you put 1 on top of the numerator over something, over to what it's asking. And then you do the denominator. The denominator in this case is the square root of 5x inside the square root. What's the index? The index will be the denominator, which is 4. And are we done yet? No. So in order to make this positive, you have to put parentheses around it, and you put what's left over, and it's 5. So that wasn't too bad. It takes a minute. We had to identify which one is the index, which one's the power root, and which one's the actual, to determine if you see the negative exponent, determine if it's a fraction or not. But in this case, it is. So any questions on number 13? All right, let's go on to the next one. It's the same thing, okay? Same thing as the previous one. So when you ever see this, what do we do first? Put a fraction, right? What number is it? 1. Then after you determine that, then let's go inside the square root. The 5x with the variable, right? What is the square root? What is the end root? The index is 2. You don't have to put anything right there. And when you see a 1 right there, you don't have to put parentheses around it. So are we through yet? Yes, we're finished. So do you see the difference between this problem and that problem? Because that one has the 5 on the numerator, and we have a 1 on the numerator, and they're both negative, right? There's both negative exponents, and this is how you get to this. That's how you figure this part out. So any questions on those two problems? That wasn't too bad, right? All right. If there's no more questions, let's move on. You can stop at the video at any time if you wish to verify your notes and information. That would be very helpful, okay? All right, here we go. Then we can do number 18. Number 18 has the base of m, negative exponent of 1/2. What do we do first to get this positive? Put a fraction, right? What number goes on the numerator? 1. All right. And then what goes inside the square root, which is known as a radicand? Is it an m, the 2, or the 1? If you said the m, you're correct. Square root of m. Are there anything more? Actually, that's wrong. Which one's the index? The 2 or the 1? The 2, right? But you don't have to put a 2 right there. And the 1, you don't have to put anything on it. So that's our final answer. Any questions in number 18? So when you see the variable of m like this, you put, when you see a negative, the negative exponent, you put 1 over, first thing first, put 1 over whatever it is, and whatever is on the inside of the square root, which is m, and then you determine which one's the index, and then whatever is left over, the power root. In this case, there's 1 over square root of m. And that was it. Any questions on number 18? That wasn't too bad, right? So, if there's any more questions, let's move on to the next 3 problems. All right. Number 19, 20, 24. Write each expression to exponent form. Remember these? We're going back to the same thing, folks. Remember problems 7, 8, and 10? It's almost the same thing. It's going to be a lot easier, okay? All right, folks. All right, well, let's see. What is the base? Number 19, we have open parentheses, the index of 4, square root of m, close parentheses, the third power. What is the base of this problem? Is it a 4, m, or the 3? If you said m, you are correct. All right, so far so good. Which one is the power? The 3 outside the parentheses or the 4? The 3, right? And what's left over is a 4. Let's check. Okay. The index, the third. Does it match with the original problem? Yes. So that's our final answer. Any questions on number 19? All right, let's move on to number 20. We have 20, open parentheses, the index of 3, square root of 6x, close parentheses, the power of 4. What is inside? What is the base? Is it a 6x, the 3 on the index, or the 4? If you said 6x, you're correct. Question. Before we forget, do we put parentheses around it? Yes or no? Yes, we do. You see why in a minute. All right. Now we're going to do the exponents. What number goes on the top, on the numerator? The 4 outside of the 4 or the 3? The 4, right? And the 3 is in the index. Let's check. 6 square root of 6x. The index right here. And outside. Does it match? Yes. So that's the final answer. Any questions on number 20? So far, we are the radical and the exponent, radical form, exponential form. It's helping from the previous problems to get where we're at right now. So you'll be surprised at the end of this lesson. And you always double check with your notes on the video, on your homework, to see you got are you doing the steps the right way. But so far, any questions on number 20? All right, let's move on to number 24. We have the fraction 1 over open parentheses square root of 3k close parentheses the square root of 5. All right. What is the base? Is the 3k, the 5, or the 2? Imaginary 2. If you said 3k, you're correct. Do we do the parentheses around it? Yes or no? Since it's in fraction, yes. In this case, it's fraction. Yes, we do. All right, now since since this is a fraction, is the power negative or positive? Think about it from the previous problem. You see this? Remember this? What do we see here? The negative, right? So we're going to put a negative exponent. Now we're going to put this over. Which one is the numerator? The 5 or the 2? I'll tell you. The 5, right? And the 2 goes inside. There you have it. That is, we're going backwards. Since we have the fraction, we'll put it over like in the exponential form. That's how you do this when you're converting a fraction and with the x square root. And this is how you do it in the exponential form. So any questions on number 24? All right. So far, so good. It's not too bad, right, folks? It's a little bit easier than anyone can anticipate. But it's okay. All right. So when we're doing 25, 26, and 32, we're simplifying. All we're going to do is this. We have the base is 9 and the exponent 1/2. Question. This is something I remember doing this. Remember back in Algebra 1, pre-algebra, Algebra 1, and Algebra 2. Remember the square roots? What is the square root of 4? What is the square root of 16? All that good stuff. This is this base a square root? Yes, right? Is that a yes? Give me a second. Wait, hold on. Crap, hold on. Hold on. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. It's okay. All right, hold on. Give me a second, folks. I think I've misplaced my calculator. I'll show you why. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. What is the square root of 9? 3, right? Is there anything else we can do here? No, right? Let's see. Let's do it in a calculator. I'm going to do this right here. We got, hold on, 9 parentheses. You get this in your calculator, make sure you're correct. We got 9 and exponent 1/2. Do you see 3? Does it match? Yes. We don't need to do any more. So that's our final answer. Any questions on number 9, number 25 actually? Any questions? All right, let's move on. When you see this, we have to figure out this. Number 26, the 343 square root, the 343 exponent of negative exponent of 4/3. And do we go, question, do we put this in a fraction? Yes, right? What number we on top? The 1, right? What number do we get the exponent, the final answer? What numbers do we multiply? Give me a moment, please. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to figure this out. 343. Oh, let me see. It can help me out. I could do this myself. I'm trying to figure this. So let me see. When you do in the calculator, this is going to be tricky. Let me do this. When you do this over in the calculator, this is what happens. 343. Make sure you get the power root. Okay, let me move this up. Can you see that? Make sure it is parentheses. And move the fraction, move the cursor over. Make sure it's this. 4/3. That's it. 1/2401. 2401. That's our final answer. That's how you do it. That's how you determine. So you put in your calculator 343 and you put this into parentheses. Make sure you put a negative and this comes as a fraction. So any questions on number 26? I was trying to figure out to do how they got the part 343 times 4 divided by. Okay, I'll figure it out soon. But that's how you do that. So, any questions so far, number 26? All right, let's move on to 32. 32, we have 80, parentheses, open parentheses, 81, m to the 6, close parentheses, the power of 1/2. All right, so what is the base? The base is 81, right? But 80, is it 81 a square root? Yes. What number do we get? 9, right? 9. What's the variable? M. We're almost finished. This is going to be easier to determine the root. What's 6 times the power 6 times 1/2? Let's do this here. 6 times 1/2. 6 times 1 is 6. Divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That is our exponent. Are we through yet? Are we finished? Yes, that is our final answer. So, there we have it, folks. We have we simplified the last 3 problems. In the previous problems, I went over the exponential form. Right here, the radical form. And the other 2 are the same thing from the beginning, the radical form and the exponential form. So there we have it. Our lesson is complete on radicals and rational exponents. But if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will be gladly to help you out on this. Until then, everyone, you have a wonderful and safe rest of your evening or rest of your weekend. Until then, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, folks.